Okay, let's join in together right now and take a few moments out to think and talk about healing. And I think that's something every one of us can relate to in these times where the world seems to be churning and feeling chaotic, unsettling at times. So just join me for a moment and take a deep, deep cleansing breath, breathing in and letting it go. Again, breathing in and letting go. And we turn within to that quiet place deep inside of each one of us where there is peace, often called that peace that passes understanding. When we take a moment and let go of all that's churning around us, all that's churning in my brain, then we also can note that there is always a place of peace, of quiet, a settled place. And sometimes it's helpful if we do that with another person or a group of people to feel that more powerfully together. So we'll just imagine ourselves in a circle today. So welcome and join. Glad that you could join us today. And I wanted to talk a little bit about healing. So the topic for today came from some writings by Charles Fillmore, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, but he talks about the use of affirmation is simply talking to the body, raising the consciousness to spiritual reality, which is perfect health. So I think that's a really helpful statement to look at because there is a difference between the healing model and the curing model. So to just tell you a little bit of my background, I'm Robin Goff. I'm the spiritual leader of the Light Center, which is a unity retreat and healing sacred sanctuary on 95 acres near Lawrence, Kansas, and has been in operation for over 31 years now, offering all kinds of ways for people to access personal and spiritual expansion and healing. And it takes different forms for different people because we all relate to that somewhat differently. So I started out in nursing school. I had grown up in various different Christian denominations. We actually went to whatever church was closest to our house. And so I didn't have a heavy indoctrination in a particular doctrine, but I found my way along my path to San Francisco Theological Seminary, which is Presbyterian at its core, but it is part of a graduate theological union. So it brings in speakers from all different denominations and paths of life. Really, really dynamic. And I did what's called a Master of Arts and Values. So having come out of a nursing background, a degree in nursing, then I veered off into this very vague area called values. And the stated purpose of that program was to create change agents. And right away, I knew that was me. This is like back in the early 80s. I didn't know where my life was going or how that was going to play out. But I felt myself stepping into this role, becoming a change agent. During that training, then I found my way into hospice care. So although I had thought a great deal about doing further study in nursing, I never found anything that totally resonated with me. And so when I discovered hospice care, I just lit up. It's like everything in me knew that this was the right path for me. I had gone through a pretty challenging loss of my mom. This is way over 50 years ago now, with cancer. And she had very, very aggressive treatment for a few years. She was young. They didn't want to stop trying everything. And it was a real traumatic loss when it finally occurred because there was no hospice and there was no palliative care in our country at that time. So when she died, it catapulted me into exploration. Fortunately, I found my way to a Unity Church in Charlotte, North Carolina area. And there I was introduced to meditation and affirmations and unity ways of exploring things. And it really changed my path from the curing model, which is what I'd learned about in nursing school, into the healing model, which to me is a whole nother paradigm that goes along beside the curing model. So our goal when we're working in the healing model is cure. Everybody wants to cure whatever is going on with them, get rid of all their signs and symptoms and come back to the 0 point, back to feeling absolutely normal in the way they want to be. And what I learned through hospice care is that doesn't always happen for everybody. That sometimes the illness that you're working with progresses and goes on, and it becomes the ending of your life. So I began to realize that there was a need for different languaging and different ways of understanding and looking at the healing journey that can go on even when there's no more treatments available to us that can lead to a cure. The doctor, your family, and yourself all come to this agreement that there is no more treatment to lead toward a cure that is applicable for my journey. And so then you start to explore all of the magical, amazing ways of healing yourself, your soul, the deepest part of you that is on this life's journey. And it's your own absolutely unique journey or path of healing that won't look like the next person's. And so I think of it in terms of creating a different goal. So if a cure line is taking you from an illness to health, cure, everything's back to somewhat normal for you in your life, that's kind of a straight line image. And that's what we fall back on, sick to cure. But the truth is that most everything that we're dealing with in our spiritual and growth process in our lives is more of a soul journey. And it's more like a spiral going around and around and around. And on one side, you face devastation, crisis, trauma, loss, diagnosis, all these different things that can just throw you into a pile of rubble, feeling like your life is just shattered into a million pieces. And then gradually, you can put those pieces back together. And it's a long process, and it takes as long as it takes. So as we go around that journey of finding ways of putting myself back together, not feeling so much in this separation from all that is good and true and beautiful in the world, we begin to find ourselves coming around this spiral to a place where, I'm feeling more like myself again. I'm feeling myself coming back to my true nature. And I can perhaps begin to see that things are coming more into balance in so many different ways. Things that I had lost or let go of are set aside, and I'm creating a new normal, a new way of being in the world. And so when I get to this place where I'm feeling like I'm in a place of wholeness and connection with myself, with others around me that I love and care for, and with spirit, however I imagine that, when I get to that point, what happens? Something else might happen. You might lose your best friend, or you might lose your job, or you might get sick with something, or have some other kind of huge event happen in your life. And so then you find yourself back at the beginning again, but it's always at a slightly higher level because the spiral is always taking you on a spiritual healing journey. So then when you're in that crisis point again and feeling like everything's shattered and knocking you off your feet, then you remember, I found some tools that helped me as I found my way back to wholeness again, to a place of feeling more like myself again, more back into the true, deeper part of me. And so we go around and around that spiral throughout our whole entire lives. So instead of making cure the model, I like to create a new model for this healing journey. Yes, always hold on to the curing hopes and dreams and prayers and work with all the best team you can to move along that journey towards curing anything that you're working with. But in the healing model, let's set a goal of peace. And peace is a good goal no matter what is going on. Whether you've lost somebody really close to you or you're dealing with something difficult in your own physical body, pain or illness or whatever, peace can be at the core of that healing journey, no matter what, no matter where you are. So let's just take a moment in closing to hold each other's hands across the miles. I'll imagine myself with you, right there with you. As we breathe peace deeply into every part of our being, feeling the peace that's deep, deep in Mother Earth and surrounds us everywhere in the heavens. So earth and sky join together in each one of us and bring in a magical, mystical stream of pure, peaceful consciousness. And so I wish that for you today and for myself as well, as we wish for peace for all beings in this world. And so it is.